Hi everyone, hope you're doing okay. So I've just uploaded a video where I did a jam with the dual BIA setup and the two WMD carbon filters. The core patch hasn't changed. We're still using all of the same modules. So we've got the Ruina Versio. We've got the modulation section with mimetic to digitalis and laptosos. We've got drums via the battering ram and the Archer's rig. They're going through the Casper Bastel Waver just for mixing purposes, so I can save an input on the mixer, but also add a little bit of flavour as well. And then we've got the sequencing section, so we've got the clock, and then we've got the div skip, which sequence everything on the case. Same kind of mixer setup. I have changed it slightly from the jam, so I've taken the low pass outputs from the WMD carbons and put those into the mixer rather than the 4-pole copies. I haven't removed the cables yet, but they're hanging off there. And we're malting the drums into this mixer section as well. And then this mixer section obviously goes into the Ruina Versio, as I said in the previous videos. So in this video, I just want to just showcase a little bit the BIAs and the fantastic modules. We'll just play around with some of the sounds, like so. And we'll do a few little jams and stuff, and I'll just talk about the ways I can kind of use this and kind of filter setups and stuff like that you can play around with. But the WMD carbon filters, they add so much. You can see I'm using wavefolding. This top of these two lights here indicates wavefolding is on. That's pretty much always on, no matter how I use it. The wavefolder on these are fantastic. But the one underneath indicates the saturation value. And you can also CV the saturation as well on these, which I haven't done. It is an interesting thought. So yeah, I might play around with the modulation of the saturation on there as well. But you can see I got some saturation on this one, and I got a tiny bit of saturation going on this one. But it just thickens up that sound. Not that it needs thickening. It just sounds awesome. So let's just showcase a few BA sounds, and then we'll just get into a quick jam, and then we'll talk some more from there. So you'll notice I'm not doing any pitch CV whatsoever. No pitches going in here. It's all just controlled with the knobs here. So I mean, I'll show you the pitch range of the BA. So as you can hear, you don't really want to go much lower than that because it's too deep. I found when I'm actually doing the final mix output, which goes into the SP off the camera here, I tend to put an equalizer on the incoming signal, and I'm like -6 on the low end because Eurorack just produces, well, it's overpowering in essence, and it gets quite muddy as well because these have a thick low end, and then the battery ram has a really low end as well. Just hear that, just mean. I love that battery ram. I might leave it there actually. But other sounds you can make with BIAs, through some of these settings. So the one I tend to use most is the fold setting, which is this knob here, but I'll just run you through some of those. There's no fold. Love it. Okay, let's just run through the harmonics. See there, and then the morph is interesting. I rarely do the morph because it's quite a dramatic change. Let me listen. Yeah, I'll let you listen to it. See, I don't tend to use that one much. And then you've got the spread. So I think in like the bass mode we've got it. Let's see what effect that has. Minimal. If we change it to alto mode, so the middle of the two, kind of you've got kind of like bass, you got middle, and then you got treble. They call it L2, but it's essentially low range, middle range, high range. But let's put it into middle range. Let's hear that. Yeah, and then spread, I think we'll have in combination with harmonic. Yeah, very sharp sound. I prefer the bass. Right. What else is there to talk about here? So, in the previous video I showed obviously the waver and the dark matter combination. I've taken the dark matter out so that we can have the additional BA in there. But still using the waver, as I said, to combine the two outputs, the battery and the Archer's rig. So we've got one input on the mixer here for both of those. But I'm still able to use a little bit of the shaping as well. So I mean, I can showcase. So this is just dry going through waver. Can I trim? So I just up the shape. Yeah, it gets crazy. On the hat. Whoa. Love it. Yeah, from that, what does the bass? Whoa. So much fun. Then you've also got this, the break CV, so it has quite an effect as well. That kind of overtone. Yeah, like that. Alright, let's leave it like that. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick jam, and then whilst I'm jamming, I'll try to think of something else to talk about. Alright, enjoy. hours and hours. Yeah, amazing me all the time. So I'm just going to explain a little bit more about the sequencing and the modulation section, I think. Just dive into that a little bit more. So the div kit, the div skip even, div kid, div skip. So these last two channels on the div kit, div skip, God, tongue twister, are set to the Turing machine mode. As I mentioned before, they've got kind of two outputs. They've got A and B triggers coming out of it. What is really good with the div skip is that if you go past the middle point to the right, you are actually influencing how much randomization you're adding. So there'll be a set pattern of 16 steps, and like here it might replace, I mean, it's like a percentage going around. So like 100% change here could be like 5%, like just off the middle section here, and then obviously halfway 50%, and so on and so on. But you can do that, so you can have evolving sequences if you just left it in a position to the right, and it would gradually change over time. And as soon as you like something that you've got, you then can lock it. So you go to the left of the 12 o'clock position, and you'll see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's a little white light that's popped up, and that is the amount of steps. So you can then control all the way down to like 0 steps, so one all the way around to the full 16. It's amazing little implementation for it. This module doesn't do any CV or any pitch or anything like that. It's just pure triggers, but it's very good at its job for doing that. So that singular one is not quite controlling 2 voices. I got the one BA sequencing on this one, and then I got the other BA sequencing on this one, on the B channel of this one here, and the A channel of this one here is modulating the mimetic digitalis. So you probably saw in the video there that it's basically going left to right on 4 steps. So it's doing this at whatever trigger pattern is coming out of the A channel for this. And it moves along. And in each 4 of those steps, it's got a different amount of CV, up to 5 volts in those. And you saw that I used load 0 shred. So load 0 shred basically sets a voltage of up to 2.5 randomized from 0 to 2.5 in each of those 4 steps. And that is just enough voltage to not really make the Ruina kick in on the smoosh output, and it quietens down all the modulation across the 2 voices. So it gives you that quieter set. But then if I hit shred on a particular step as it's going through, it will then modulate it. It will change the CV value from 0 to 5 volts. And then the higher voltage you get, the more modulation you get. So within each of these steps, you've also got the 4 channels. So it's modulating 4 times per each step. So you might get a higher CV value in channel 4 rather than 2. Or 1 and 3 might be low, and so on and so on. It completely randomizes it. So you might get the Ruina kicking in at some points. You might get some extreme modulation coming onto the voice 2. You might get some on voice 1, or a combination of all thereof. And that is what really makes the sound that you're hearing in these jams. And it's just really down to the modulation. And then obviously the wavefold in and everything put on top of it will enhance that even further. But it largely comes down to this. And that's, as I said, this has stuck by me all the way through. I am thinking of getting a smaller attenuator, 4-channel attenuator. I quite like the look of the acid rain junction, I think it is. It's also acts as like a CV mixer. If I can get like 4 of those, 1 for each channel, then I've got possible like 16 outputs or something like that, which is interesting. But it kind of starts with the higher value, and then it would reduce it down the next 3. So you have some less modulation for maybe filters and so on, or you can use the top one for the pure kind of output. But we'll see. Okay. I think that largely does it for me talking. I am going to just jam a little bit more, and then please check out the other video. If you got any suggestions or anything you want to talk about, in this case, or Eurorack or Modular, anything like that, please do add it to the comments, and I'll see if I can cover it. And yeah, other than that, yeah, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Cheers, bye bye.